Alright, we're back with part 2. I just realised that in the first part I was going batshit with my mouse, so I'm sorry about that. Had a look back and I just go absolute bananas, just heaps of circles, and it hurts my eyes. But I'm not going to redo it, so I'll just let you deal with it. That's fine. Raising. Nice. Forward to that. Limping, we've got, if I'm reading this right, we've got 15 bigs and 11 bigs. It's not awful. I don't really see the necessity to do it. They're a lot shallower than when I was advocating it earlier. But it's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, that makes it easy. He likely had Queen X there, like all the time. Maybe like a reasonable 7. Oh, yeah, that's fine. You could also shove it, but it's not really necessary with our stack. What looks like this is either the final table or the final 2. Nice to get walked. Yeah, see, if we'd been limping previously, this is a good spot to limp. Limp calls. I don't really expect to get called that much, but that's fine. You can check this flop, because we have the deck crushed pretty much, we have him crushed. He's going to really struggle to call there, and there's virtually no draws out there other than gutters. That will probably bet, and he's just going to auto bet a lot of turns and stuff. But betting's not the worst. He does stack off with a lot, but I think he stacks off with that range irrespective. Smaller. Although it wasn't too big actually, but just double check that. Yeah, it's not the worst, it's fine. I'd be more inclined to open buttons and way less inclined to open small blinds. Just because we want to be playing in position if we can help it. Oh, I like that, good boy. Makes sense when he's reshipping on us and he's never flatting. Oh, it's gross. So we heads up. Sorry, let me just give me a sec. We heads up and we're about 23 bigs effective. Our general strategy for heads up should be something along the lines of just, especially when we have a massive edge, which I assume we do here. We want to be keeping pots small, playing a lot of pots in position. We want to play very few hands in our position. We don't want to 3-bet super light because 3-bet folding like 5 big blinds does heaps of damage to us until the stacks are closer together. As the effective stack gets closer to 18, we want to start 3-bet shoving and limp shoving and open shoving hands. But yeah, it plays fundamentally different to blind versus blind otherwise because obviously the buttons and the small blinds. Good flop to check back. We don't really get anything better to folds, and we don't really want to bet fold to a raise. So yeah, I like that. It's an okay ball to float, especially now that we've picked up a gutter. But equally, I expect him to have a lot of ace-x in his range. A lot of 4s, 3s, and small pocket pairs that we're probably not going to be able to bet off on the river. But yeah, that's fine. I like it. I think folding there on the turn would definitely be too nitty. Because we're pretty much using our showdown value to get down to the river. And it's good to know that he's just going to stab all those stab turns if we bet. Most people don't adjust very much. It's good. We want to just grind him down. Fold. Yeah. See, if he made that a bigger sizing, then we'd be more inclined to have to play the pot. I was doing some heads up cash the other day, and in case you doesn't know, with minimum defense frequencies to make their open profitable, it's like way higher for a min raise than it is for a thing. So if you're min raising and he's not defending anymore, we're just making more profit because we need to be successful less often. So like our worst percentile if we open every button is instantly profitable if he doesn't defend above the threshold, which it doesn't look like he's doing. Yeah, the walk's fine. It's also good for dynamics. Oh, same hand, that's what confused me. He walks us out. It's nice. Should be raising most buttons. I think there's a good argument for a C-bet here because we can make him fold ace high and king high hands, and he doesn't have many overpairs or anything. And now that the board's paired, it's going to be really hard to get him off anything. And it's ridiculous, but that's fine. We could just defend here. We could also 3-bet. I lean towards defending just because we get to showdown such a lot, since he tends to just play sofa fold, and we can't really 3-bet call for value. And 3-bet folding an ace heads up is kind of a disaster. Yeah, that's cool. There's a good argument for leading there, because people just don't believe leads, first of all. So he's very unlikely to fold. We get value from all of his draws, and on this kind of board, all of his aces beat us anyway, and they all C-bet. And all of his king highs really check back. Under pairs check back, all his showdown checks back, but they're not willing to fold. I mean, his draws will bet, but his draws call a bet or raise anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So I think this is a flop that I would be thing. Yeah, I don't like this. There's no need for this. Like, this is just a massive waste of equity, because when we get called, he has us crushed. He calls with like an ace with a heart, with a like ace heart suited, all of them. He calls with most better aces. He calls with I don't think, like, he folds an 8. He folds flush draws, which is cool, or lead, but there's no need to jam it on him, really. Now we're even, and a bit deeper, which is nice. Just fold. He seems awful. He's just punty, so there's no need to really get to our line with him. And I'll just be opening all buttons since he gives up so much. Yeah, see, I think we can still open there, because he just folds so often. That really went against the point I was making, but that's fine. He's not going to be profitable shoving 30 bigs on us, so I think, like, Queen 3 heads up isn't open. Queen X isn't open. Like, we should just be grinding him down, because look, he folds. And then he ships on us. I'd be C-betting this board. We don't really have showdown value with Queen X, and I think we can get a lot of hands with decent equity versus our particular range to fold. Like Queen Jack will fold, a lot of hands will float, but basically we can't bluff catch, and he's going to bet auto bet turns, as we talked about earlier. That's annoying, but that's fine. Open. See, look how nitty he is. Just open and let him fold. If he piles on us, it's not the end of the world. Every time he just doesn't open that, he folds so much. I'd be defending that if he raised. Open. Call. Yep. We're playing pretty fold, which isn't really necessary. And I just don't think it's, you know, the greatest thing in the world to be doing. I mean, yeah, I'm fine folding that flop, because that flop a lot of stuff hits, but we need to be opening more, and we need to be grinding him down. There's no need to play tight and try flip with him, because he's just so fundamentally bad. Our edge is greatest in heads up format, so we may as well just open really wide until he adjusts, which he won't do. See, open that. That's an open. Everything's an open. Everything's an open until he gives us a reason not to. See? Yeah, I'm fine checking it back. This is his first limp, and it's kind of suspicious. And right now we do have showdown value, so I just try and realize that now that we've hit, I'd probably lead. What could we do here? Yeah, his range is really weird, but he's also quite spewy, so we could bet really big here and expect him still to call off with like ace high some of the time. Yeah, see, I'd bet bigger. Yeah. See, I'd bet, like, it's weird that he's like this, it's so bad. Yeah, bet way bigger, and he still calls you. Because he's just such a station. It's awful. Yeah, it's fine. fine. That's really unfortunate. Like, I love betting there because there's draws out there, and we don't have the deck crush that much. There's heaps of ace x and queen x. I'll probably bet a little smaller, just because we won't give him room to shove over us, which he's been apt to do. Open. I'm not going to tell you to open every hand from now on, but I think you should be versus guy. I mean, you could limp buttons as we get smaller, but I don't think we're quite there yet. We're probably getting around there, that you could just limp some buttons. See that? Yeah, awesome. That's annoying. Yeah, I suppose it's not the end of the world, that hand. So, yeah, I don't mind check back giving up on that board because it just smashes his calling range. That sucks. He is soul reading you pre-flop. Just fold. I mean, we could 3-bet, but I just expect us to get jammed on way too much. We could defend, but you know, we're not loving, like, probably 75% flops suck for us. Like, yeah, that's one of them. Like, that's just a big blind that we could have saved. Yeah, I don't mind a check there, because he'll bet the turn with all aces and check all his there. And, yeah, that's an awesome call. I think King 6 is close to the top of his bluff range there as well. He can turn up with, like, 10 Jack. Like, Queen X. Random flushes, of course, which is fine. But I think that he, like, we only just happen to have him out kick there, but I think we have him smashed a lot because, like, King 10, King Queen, Queen Jack. King Jack probably raises pre. So that was good. Again, no need. Absolutely no need. Oh, he called off with the worst, but I still don't see a real need for it. And that looks like you have him crushed. It's good. Overall, I think you should work on your heads up and shorthanded a little bit. You still tend to be pretty push foldy with deeper stacks, which isn't the best. I think you play pretty well. Disconnecting and folding down to 2 big blinds is generally something you don't want to do, but other than that, it's really good. Your push fold seems pretty solid. I would stop isolating 2 and 3 big blind shoves with hands that don't dominate their range, just because you don't really gain much and you don't really protect your stack enough when you have like 20 of the 40 bigs in a turbo structure where that's going to rapidly shrink, and holding onto your chips is important. You also check shoved a few flops with top pair, which didn't seem that necessary versus him because he's just going to put the chips in anyway for us with a wider range. And even though he's really stationary and just called off with second pair here, which is probably fine given this is your 4th shove or whatever, but yeah, I just don't think it's necessary. I think there's better ways to play against him and just pot control and grind him down. I think you need to open wider in some spots. I think you need to raise fold a shallower effective stack. You can raise fold 20 bigs pretty comfortably. Like 18's reasonably comfortable in some spots. 17, 16's okay in some spots. Like, but you're not raise folding under like 25, 30 almost, which is why we keep folding down to like 10 bigs, because you're not getting any steals through, because you have to shove a tighter range when you're deeper. And, you know, if we keep folding down to 15 bigs to take shove spots in a turbo structure, we're just not going to maintain a playable stack for very long, which is what happens. Yeah, they win a lot of post-flop spots, to be honest, which is fine, but that's generally why I'm better at this. Push folds during my weaker stuff, but that's fine. Hopefully you enjoyed it. This is Doug signing out. As soon as I find the off button. There we go.